Thank you, Dean Crown, for that introduction. I'm going to have to do something to shorten that. I don't know. It's getting a little long. I'd also like to thank President Cornwell, Chairman Keene, members of the administration and faculty, distinguished guests, family and friends, and mostly to the class of 2018. Congratulations. I am really honored to be with you here today, and I know that at least part of the reason is the business experience that Dean Crown referenced as to why I'm here. But there's another reason that has a title that has nothing to do with business, and it's the one I'm most proud of, parent. As she mentioned, I'm the proud father of 2 Rollins College graduates who are both doing very well. And I'd like to say something quickly to the parents here today. As I was coming in and looking around, I saw some smiles, but I also saw a few tears in some of your eyes. And I get it, I understand. This is a really big day, not only for your son or your daughter, but for you. Just think, you are finally finished spending money on their education. I've also been honored to serve on the Rollins College Board of Trustees, and thanks to Dean Crown, I've had the privilege of working closely with the administration, faculty, and many of the students here at this great business school. I even taught a few classes with Professors McAllister and Marshall. It was a lot of fun, and I've hosted dinners with students to learn more about what they want to do with their careers. And this has led me to think a great deal about the Crummer vision. That vision is to be recognized for developing, quote, highly successful, responsible, global business leaders. And this actually reminded me of something one of my MBA professors told me back in 1985 on my first day of business school. Just to give you a little backstory, I grew up in a working class town in Ohio, and we were a manufacturing family. I was the first one in my family to go to college, so I took that opportunity very seriously. At the same time, in college, I wasn't really thinking much about my career. I just knew I wanted to be in business. I figured I'd start at the bottom somewhere and I'd climb the old corporate ladder. But you know, the real business world was a rude awakening for me. I saw that my economics degree was a nice foundation, but I discovered I had a lot to learn and lacked many of the important business skills like accounting and finance. On my first job out of college, I really had the distinct feeling my boss was saying to himself, "What are we paying this kid for?" That's what drove me to pursue an MBA myself. I knew I needed more depth in business courses and knowledge of how companies and markets worked and how to become a better leader. So on my first day of business school, I went to an accounting class. Great, I thought. I'm finally going to learn how to balance the books. We had a professor who had been teaching for many years, and he said, "Okay, everybody, so there are 60 of you in this class, and I know some of you already have your CPA license, but don't think just because you have a CPA, you're going to do better than those that don't have a CPA." I wasn't quite sure what he meant. I'd never had an accounting class. But then he clarified. He said, if you're here to learn how to become a better accountant, then you probably made a very, very bad investment coming here to business school. That's not why we're here today. Because it's not the technical aspects of debits and credits. It's about how to use your accounting to help you become a better general manager or CEO or executive. This really opened my eyes to the real reason you get an MBA. It's not to prove to a boss that you can really balance the books. It's not to speed up your promotions or a pay raise. This is about raising the ceiling for how high you can go. This is about changing the trajectory of your career. Look, less than 5% of all professional workers in U.S. businesses have an MBA. And only a minuscule percentage of people who go into business will ever serve as a CEO or run a company. Yet among CEOs in the United States of America, 40% have an MBA. So how does this tie into the Crummer vision? Well, we need to remember that it can't be fulfilled by wonderful faculty and rigorous coursework alone. Like my MBA professor taught me, it actually requires all of you, our graduates, to recognize the higher purpose of doing this. You need to take a moment to recognize something. All of you now have knowledge and capabilities that a relatively few people have. You don't want to work in sales. You want to head marketing and sales. You don't want to work in a startup. You want to start something. You don't want to go to meetings in the C-suite. You want people to come meet you in the C-suite. So graduates, at those dinners I hosted, I heard about the goals you all have, and I think you can achieve them. My only advice is reach higher, think even bigger. You have the tools now not just to be part of something, but to lead something or to start something. And you can do this on a global scale. This is especially true after today if you continue to be a student in at least one sense. You'll need to continuously be learning about the digital economy. When I was sitting in your shoes at my MBA graduation back in 1987, everyone was talking about how the Japanese business model was going to dominate the global economy. But there was this new world taking shape. There were these new startup companies called Apple and Microsoft, and this new tech world out in Silicon Valley. I wanted to see it for myself. So after I got my MBA in the East, I took a consulting job out in San Francisco. And when I got there, I was issued this really cool piece of technology. If you can believe this, my boss gave me a portable computer. It was a compact, and I'm not exaggerating, this thing weighed about 50 pounds. Also, this computer wasn't really mine. My team shared it, and they just needed someone to carry it. And because I was a junior guy on the team and pretty big, that was my job. Looking back on it now, the flaw in the theory about Japanese business domination is pretty obvious. The global economy wasn't about to be dominated by a country. It was going to be dominated by the software buried inside that compact computer, which Moore's law told us would double in power every 2 years, and it did. And so here we are today. You can hold a computer easily in your hand, your smartphone, and it has hundreds of times more processing power than my compact did. Those startups are now the first and the third biggest companies in the Fortune 500, and Silicon Valley is everywhere. You are sitting here not in California, but in Florida, in one of the fastest growing tech cities in the United States. But here's the real opportunity. It may seem like the new economy has already replaced the old. Yet I'd argue that's only true in our consumer lives. Most sectors of our economy are still grappling with the emerging fourth industrial revolution. Many large companies are struggling with how to transform themselves and compete, how to translate things like artificial intelligence or big data into real business value. Many people also think we're in the golden age of startups, when in reality, US startups recently hit a 40-year low. The field is wide open for leaders and entrepreneurs. So now you just need to know, no matter what you choose, whether you join a startup or start something, or join an established company, you are equipped to make a difference. So be confident and again, reach higher. And pursue opportunities and ideas that shape this digital world, not get shaped by it. Before you know it, you'll be shaping it too. You will be a highly successful, responsible, global business leader. Congratulations again to the class of 2018.